All right, we've been simplifying radical monomials, but let's start to simplify some radical expressions, first of all by combining like radicals. Now you should remember combining like terms. Like terms, of course, were those terms, things that are separated by adding and subtracting, that had the same variables raised to the same powers. So in an expression like 2x plus 7x minus 5, we have two terms that are alike, the 2x and the 7x. When we combine them, we just add their coefficients. I've got two of these x's, and I'm going to add 7 more of those x's. That's going to make 9 x's altogether. That minus 5 is a completely different type of term. It's a constant term that doesn't have any variables in it. So our expression simplifies to 9x minus 5, and that's where we stop. Dealing with like radicals is going to be very similar. First of all, like radicals are going to be those roots that have the same radicand, so the same number underneath the root. And when we combine them, we're going to combine them by adding and subtracting those coefficients, the numbers that are out in front of those square roots. So when we have 4 square root 5 plus 2 square root 5, those radicands are both 5s. That means that both of these terms are alike. They have like radicals in them. The first term says I have 4 of these square root 5s, and then I'm going to add 2 more of those square root 5s. So altogether there's going to be 6 of those square root 5s. Notice we don't call that square root 10. We don't add them or multiply them together in any way. The only thing we deal with are the coefficients, the 4 and the 2. So when we're trying to simplify 5 square root 2 plus 7 square root 2 minus 6 square root 2, all 3 of these terms are alike because all 3 of their radicands are the same. They're all 2's. So I'm going to take the first 2 terms and add them together first. 5 plus 7 makes 12 of these square root 2's, and we still have to subtract 6 square root 2's. So 12 minus 6 makes 6 square root 2's. Sometimes we have different types of radicals mixed in the same expression, so it's very important to identify which ones are alike. As we look through this expression, 10 square root 7 plus 5 square root 11 plus 4 square root 7 minus 6 square root 11, we want to collect all of those radicals that are alike. So first of all, I notice that these are the 2 that have square root 7s in them. So I'm going to put those next to each other. 10 square root 7 plus 4 square root 7. Then the other 2 terms, the 5 square root 11 and minus 6 square root 11, are both square root 11s. So I'll put them together too. Then we go back and simplify. 10 plus 4 is going to make 14 of these square root 7s. And then for the square root 11s, we have 5 minus 6, which makes minus 1 square root 11. So altogether, this entire expression is our simplified form of the original one. Let's try that one more time with 15 root 3 minus 14 square root 5 plus 6 square root 5 minus 11 square root 3. So the first thing I'm going to do is collect any terms that are alike. So I'll start with the square root 3's, and there's one, and here's another one. So we have 15 square root 3 minus 11 square root 3. Then I look for other terms that are alike, and everything else is a square root 5. So minus 14 square root 5 plus 6 square root 5. Now we combine the terms that are alike. 15 minus 11 makes 4 of the square root 3's, and for our square root 5's, we have negative 14 plus 6 makes negative 8 square root 5. So there is our final answer.